Hey, it's Irina Pozan, and welcome back to the Career Cravings podcast. This podcast has a simple mission. It's to help ambitious professionals like you build the career and life that you've been craving. Over the past 15 years, I've worked as an HR leader, designed hiring systems, led recruitment teams, and I've sat on the other side of the hiring table. I've seen what works in today's job market, what doesn't, and what separates those good candidates from the ones that actually land their dream roles. Now I'm bringing everything I've learned straight to you. Each episode is packed with actionable insights and tools to help you land your dream role sooner. Now let's dive in. I am so excited for today's episode. Oh my goodness. So today we're breaking down a real life story of my past client and how she overcame multiple layoffs, moved countries multiple times, restarted her career, and then she went from 1 or 2 interviews in 6 months to building her confidence, getting multiple offers and many interviews as soon as she made a few small shifts, which we are going to break down step by step in today's episode. And today, this is the very first episode where I have a guest on. So I can't wait to hear what you think of this new series and also what your biggest takeaway will be from Upasana's incredible journey. Let's dive in. I have never had a guest on before, but it's such an inspirational story that you have gone through. And I love that you are such an incredible support. And you recently surprised me and joined me at my masterclass where afterwards, the feedback from the things that you shared just in the comments inspired so many people. So I know that today I wanted to dive a little bit deeper, pick your brain on how the process actually was. What made you decide to join that day? Because you had already gone through the masterclass, you had already landed your job, but I was so surprised to see you there in the most positive way. And I'd love to know, why did you join that day?
So there are 2 main reasons why I joined. The first one was listening to you is a therapy for me. So it's people they go to the therapist, right, to talk about their feelings, about the situations in life. And I believe being a career coach, it's nothing different. It's exactly the same. Because for me, when I didn't have a job or I was laid off and I was moving countries and states, so in that situation, not being financially, independent, and I lost the confidence in me. So whenever I would listen to you when I was in your program, it would always boost up my confidence and I would have a new direction to start my day and, go back and search my job and get through it. So that was one thing. I really missed that when I was working. I was missing that. So I thought, let me just go in and listen to you once again to be more positive about life and to realize or reflect where I was and where I am today. The second reason was to give back to the people who are in the same situation like me. So once I joined, I realized I wasn't alone. There are so many people like me who are in the same boat. So I thought that if I am coming in and I'm just supporting, because I was just while I was listening to you, I was also going through the chat and I was seeing people were saying what their situation is. And I just wanted to share my experience with them, help them understand that it will definitely be beneficial if they take your support and get into the job market. And I didn't realize that they would be able to connect with me so much, and my chat or my messages would they will read it actually. And they can connect with it. So that's how things went ahead. But then my main reason was to listen to you once more.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. And I love that. There are so many parts of your story that I want to dive into because you were so authentic and raw in the chat. And anyone would give kind of details about their situation. And you were just I have been there. I have literally moved countries too. I didn't know if I should do this. And you answered so many people's questions, and so sweet of you to also offer to chat with them in the DMs after. And then the feedback I got was just incredible. So I don't want to leave everyone waiting and hanging. Let's just dive in. So before our journey started together, before we ever met, tell me, where were you at in life, in your career, in your job search process before we connected?
Of course. So I was born and raised in India, but then I moved to Canada around back in 2019. And then I was working, everything was good, but suddenly one day I got to know that I was getting laid off. My whole department was going to get laid off. So yeah, that was difficult to process. It was the first time I ever experienced something like that. I got to realize what things are. But since then, like things were rough from there, but I somehow managed to get another job. And that's when we realized that we are moving from Canada to the US because my husband's job transfer. So I just got a job, but then I had to leave that and then move to US and then started off at Florida. Initially, we were at Florida. Again, I got a job there. And within a few days, I was again laid off. Again, the whole department was laid off. It was like deja vu for me, going through the same thing again and again. And that's when I again realized that my husband needs to move again to California. So this constant shifts and getting laid off and finding a job, it was exhausting for me. And beginning of 2024, one day while I was scrolling through Instagram, I got to know about you, went through your reels and stuff, and then followed you in LinkedIn. Since then, I was following you, but I wasn't in that situation or financially dependent. Like financially, I didn't have the independence to, invest. So that's the situation. I was thinking, let me just go through the different suggestions that we get through in LinkedIn. There are different career coaches available out there sharing all their thoughts and processes. So I was implementing them, but it wasn't working. So that's the situation I was in. And it was very frustrating. It was very depressing. I was losing my self-confidence. That's the reason I came back to listening to your masterclass once again, because those were the moments where it was therapy for me, listening to you, understanding how things are, how we can get over it. Nothing is impossible. How you motivate people, how you support people to, take the stand for themselves and get through it, that you're not alone. That really, really, really did a lot of, motivation that I needed to move on in life. So that's the...
And you've gone through so much. I mean, it's not easy to immigrate as an adult. And you did that twice. So it's like you uprooted, moved from India to Canada. And then your husband's job, of course, was moving multiple times. And then again to restart and move to the US and start again and then face multiple layoffs. I can see those being dark days, of course, and restarting again multiple times. And I love what you said. It's like you started taking action. You were like, okay, I'm going to follow a multitude of different coaches and get advice and try to piece together a strategy that would work, right? So that you can find your next role. Amazing. And what was the first step you took? Was it an initial masterclass that you joined? How did you learn more about HR Star in that process?
Yes, exactly. I joined the masterclass like everyone does, taking the first step, trying to understand how things goes on from there, what are the steps that needed to be done. And it was so well structured and so well explained by you that it looked very promising that, I should enroll because I could connect so well, and the points or the issues or the roadblocks that you were exactly talking about are the roadblocks that I was facing. And I'm sure everyone is in the same phase, so they also do understand that. So that is when I connected through the masterclass. And then I was a bit hesitant, like I didn't know how do I manage the financial investment. But then, yeah, with time, I decided that let's go for it. So honestly, enrolling in your HR Star program was the last resort for me because I tried everything, updating my resume and then reaching out to recruiters, every day applying every day. I wasn't getting any calls. There was auto rejections, that happens all the time with ATS. You wake up in the morning and you see that there are rejections at the midnight. I mean, at 2 a.m., who sends you rejection emails? So it was ATS.
And what was that moment when you're I'm doing it and you made it official and you enrolled? What did that feel like for you?
So honestly, to be very frank, I didn't have the financial stability, like I said, because I didn't have a job. So the money was the main concern. How do I pay for it? So I reached out to my husband and I said that I would like to join. And he said, no worries, I'll give you the money, just enroll. But I did promise and that I would pay it back once I have a job. I would definitely pay it back. And that was another motivation that I had in me, the zeal in me that I need to pay him back. And definitely once I joined in, things were very different. You helped me with my pitch. that I never thought that I can speak in that way, in that manner. I mean, in that 60 to 90 seconds, I could share so many information about me, even not being asked about it. But how you connect the dots and how you speak with one thing and the other, you're jumping and you're saying everything, but you aren't going fast or you are not confusing the person you're talking to. So when I had my pitch, you created it for me. It was so different. I mean, if I being on the other side of the table, if I read that pitch myself, I would be interested in that candidate. Additionally, the way the resume was, tweaked and the way when I connected to you one-on-one, I realized that, yes, I do have the skills or I did this kind of roles I did support. Earlier, I thought that these are the roles that I've never done. These are the aspects of HR that I've never touched. But then when I spoke to you or when I enrolled and I went through the modules, I realized I actually did that.
I love that. What you said about the confidence first, it's so hard to explain to someone who's never gone through it. But when you're coming from applying in a place where your confidence has been broken from the rejections, all those auto rejections, like you mentioned, from layoffs, and you're applying with a resume that reflects that, whether you know it or not, that's not going to get calls back. That's not attractive to prospective employers. And sometimes it just takes that external person to be like, you have done this. Of course you're the right candidate, right? So that's why I loved that resume transformation meeting too, where we just dove in and it's a good reminder for you on all of the amazing things that you've done, right? To build that confidence. And then the pitch, like you mentioned, comes after that with that newfound confidence. How do you actually tell that story in a way that's going to land once you do start landing those interviews, right? So tell me, how long before you joined, how long were you applying for without the results you were looking for?
I would say almost 6 months. And maybe I hardly got 1 or 2 interviews during the whole time. And then, in 6 months, hardly 1 to 2 interviews. And then because I wasn't getting any interviews or getting any callbacks, so I was adamant that, during these interviews, I need to get these jobs. And with that approach, when I spoke with the recruiter or maybe during the very first round that I could clear up, I think right now when I reflect back, I see that I was being very open to let the people understand that that is what I'm wanting. So my approach was very different, that I need the job. So it was very evident for people to understand. So that approach,
that needy energy.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. I love that you said this because so many people apply from that place and then they get that one interview and it's been a long time. It's been months. And then you come on I need this. I need this bad. And that desperate energy actually pushes away prospective employers. But I totally get why so many people come in with that energy because it does feel at that point like a desperate situation when you don't receive many calls back, right? You put a lot of pressure on that conversation. And the more pressure, then the more nervous you feel. And the more nervous you are,
exactly,
the less you can act confidently and explain all of your experience in a confident way because there's just so much pressure. It's like a do or die moment. And so before it's 6 months, couple interviews, they didn't end up going the way that you wanted. And what was the first thing after the confidence, after that resume transformation? What was the first thing that happened that told you I think it's working?
When I joined into a program was attending those HR star coaching calls. So that was a huge transformation for me because when I joined, when I met people who are in the same boat, going through the exact same feelings made me realize I am not alone. So like I said that I was fumbling a lot when going through those interviews. And initially when I was speaking during the coaching calls, I would fumble a lot. But then with time, I gained my confidence back and I was ready with my answers, or I was very confident in saying what I needed to say or express my feelings. So that was one shift that instantly happened. Other than that, I was also very much confident and positive regarding my resume or my pitch. I know I can take it over from there because during our calls, we were also speaking about our blind spots and understanding our questions or all the difficult questions. So I would listen to others as well on the coaching calls, understand their scenarios, and then, prepare how I need to respond to those questions.
Love that confidence. And I love what you said about learning from others in the same situation and having that community. aspect, because I hear all the time people will join my coaching program because they want to work with me. And that's amazing. And then later I hear feedback. They're like, I learned so much from this person who was on the call and they asked this question. And then I was asked in the interview, like, the next week, that same question, I knew exactly how to handle it. And there's so much learning that comes from one another as well that we tend to underestimate, because it's a really lonely feeling, right? When you think you're the only one who's been affected by layoffs, who's had to restart and, move countries, or, isn't hearing back from the roles that you're qualified for, right? So getting that community, I love that. And so your confidence drastically changed. You're like, listen, if they call me, they're going to love me. I'm ready for these interviews. And when did you actually start landing interviews, and what happened next?
So when I was ready and was totally looking forward for interviews, that was the holiday season. So that was around December. So of course, like I was prepared to not hear back, but
I told you wouldn't hear back. I'm pretty sure I told you, like, guys, things slow down during the holidays. Not very many offers go out. People because it was like literally that week between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm like, decision makers are away. And it was incredible what happened next. Okay, so it's the holidays.
But what exactly happened was on December 31st, when I was out with my husband, like exploring California, suddenly I get a call that she suddenly called me like, my organization is looking forward to hire someone in HR, and I think you're the right person to be fit for this role. Do you have some time to speak with my CFO right now? And I was like, I am out.
New Year's Eve.
I'm not ready. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. I said, okay, no problem. Not right now. Then how about tomorrow? I said, okay, sure. And then on 1st January, I got the call. It was like around 30 minutes of, and I was ready because I was preparing the whole December. So I was ready because I have been doing my homework all the time. So the interview went very well. And on that call itself, I was told that we'll be sending you the offer in a day or two. So after the interview, I just walked out of my room and I told my husband that I was told that I'm going to get the offer. They're working on the paperwork right now. I was like, what exactly is happening? Just pinch me. Is this true? So yeah, that's how it happened to me.
That's so beautiful. It's like so unexpected. You're just going into New Year's. I would never think that someone would have on New Year's Day their interview or offer sent. But I love a couple of things that you said. It's like candidates that are confident from your conversation, they knew you were the right person as soon as they spoke to you. Amazing. Things happen so quickly. I remember being so surprised when we got back to our first coaching call afterwards. I was like, wait, what? How is this possible? Such an incredible moment to celebrate with you as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And where are you now? So you got that offer, and tell me more about what your career looks like today.
I started like 2 days after. I think on 3rd of January, I started. So all the organizations were coming back after the vacations and I just started working. I'm trying to learn everything. And I was getting responses from the applications that I did in December. So, and I had interviews lined up. I just joined the organization where I need to show my potential that I am doing well. And at that point in time, every day, like the whole next 3 weeks, I had interviews scheduled. And I was like, oh my God. But honestly, because it was a new job and I was learning everything, I didn't have much time to go prepare myself before going into for those interviews. But that shift that I had, like earlier, I would like prepare the day before for my interview, understanding the organization or the job description and doing a bit research of the recruiter who I'm going to speak with and stuff like that. But here I would just have the maybe 10 minutes before just to understand the job description and dive into the interview. And I was scared that it is a 1 hour of call. What will I do in those calls? And then you won't believe the confidence that I had. I didn't prepare, but I was able to answer or maybe create situations and speak about it at that moment. And I was feeling like, wow, I'm like in interviews for more than 1 hour and I am being my best self where I would like freak out in maybe 10, 15 minutes. And out of those interviews, there were multiple interviews where I went into the final round, but I did get another offer I did get. And the current role that I'm in, the one that I got in January, the first offer, it was a remote role. So, and I wanted to be here where I am right now, but the other offer was with a higher compensation and it was a full-time role. But then that's when you helped me. I reached out to you and then you supported me in doing these conversations and negotiations. And right now, because of your help and how you supported me with the negotiations, I am in this remote role with a full-time opportunity. It's like no longer a contractual role, and even they matched my pay with the other offer that I had. They matched it. So everything is well. I'm in a full remote role. I don't need to travel anywhere. I have my flexibility, and I'm also getting the pay that I needed. And I'm in a much mental, much better mental state right now. So things changed drastically. The smile that you see on my face 6 months back, it wasn't there. I was always worried. What would I do? How would I go? How would I proceed from here? Where is life taking me? But right now, this is the new me, the me that I had lost. So all thanks to you. You are the reason. And that's the reason I joined your masterclass, because I needed that therapy. It's like it's available and you're going to speak. So why shouldn't I just join back and see and reflect back to everything?
First of all, what an exciting place to be. Okay, let's just go back 6 months, couple interviews. The confidence is shaky. You're not really sure. Then you start applying. You're ready. You're finally ready. You have your confidence. You start applying around the holidays. I tell you, you know what? You're probably not going to hear back very much until January. You end up getting one offer through your network. Incredible, right? Because it's always so much easier to interview and not the timing of the interview, but it's so much easier to be confident in an interview when you're already working, right? When you have an option. So you're there. And then how many interviews did you start getting in that early January period when you were already working?
I think 3 to 4 organizations had reached out to me from the applications that I did in December. So they were back to back, 1 week of this companies, maybe 2 companies first round. So I've already scheduled the second week is for the second round. So it's like every week, two or three interviews for the different rounds of the interviews that I was having, the second round or third round, stuffs like that. But it was full packed. January was full packed for interviews for me.
Beautiful.
Along with my job.
And so quickly. I love that. And I mean, to land a remote role, that's another thing I want to touch on, that so many people, it's so much more competitive to get a remote role. That's what so many people are looking for nowadays. And there are thousands instead of hundreds of applicants for those types of roles. And I loved also that negotiation part with you too, because once you have a role and you have an offer, you have more leverage. So instead of going in with that needy energy, I need this interview to go well, you're kind of going in listen, I have an offer. Yes, it's a contract. Hopefully I get something better. And then you're able to kind of negotiate from that perspective, which you ended up getting everything that you wanted. And I know during the masterclass recently, you were sharing percentages. Can you share kind of the difference in the offers that you started receiving as well?
I think it was 34 or something. The initial offer that I got, the remote role, I think it was something 34. And then once I got the other offer and when I negotiated, it was then changed from 34 to 37, something like that. So that's that's a 37% increase from what I was getting when I was in Florida. So that's a huge increase, and then it's completely remote. So there's no expenses for traveling. I'm saving time. I have my flexibility, and I'm not spending anything on traveling or anything
Amazing. So it's you went from literally not earning any money because you were in between opportunities to then making 37% more than your last role, which is so fantastic. And I think when you interview more confidently, like you've described, those are the types of increases you also start to attract because you understand your worth. You're coming in there with an understanding of no, I have done these things before. I am an incredible candidate and it shows through. So I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. So now you have amazing, the career that you wanted. So beautiful. What are you most proud of in achieving for yourself within that process?
I'm proud of finding myself back. The first thing is I got myself back. I had lost myself. So those last 6 months or almost 1 year, I had lost everything. I didn't know who I was. So I was missing this person that I am right now sitting in front of you. So that is one of my biggest achievements. And the second one was I did challenge myself that I need to pay back my husband because he did the investment for me. So it was like with the sign-on bonus that I got when I got confirmed, I was able to give it back in one go. So it was like, and feeling that I had taken the right decision at that point in time. It was risky for me, but I took that decision and then I went into it and I'm being able to get what I wanted out of it. I got out from that situation. I found myself and I was able to repay my husband and I'm now having the life and the career that I was looking forward to, I was missing. So all this
Beautiful.
is, yeah, so all this is like huge achievements for me. And that is why like I try to support the people who are in this position right now. So because of my feedbacks and because of my reviews that I've shared about you on LinkedIn and other social media places, people do reach out to me all the time trying to understand about my journey and if it would be beneficial to enroll in your coaching program. I would always share my experience with them, the shifts that I had and why I would recommend them. So I try to give back to the society as well and, support the
I love
community
that.
in the
Thank you
best way
so much.
possible.
I'm
You did
always
it
so
for me, right?
grateful for that.
It is now my responsibility to give back to the other people who are in maybe in much worse situation than me. So it's my responsibility to give back to the people. So I am always trying to do that.
Amazing. And last question, what would you tell someone who's literally in your shoes before you joined and they're trying to determine if getting support is the right next step and finances might be a concern as well? What would you tell someone that's in the shoes you were in prior to joining?
I would say that you are not alone. So maybe you feel that it is only happening to you. It's not just you. There are many people like that in this situation right now because of the situation all around. And then I would say that take that leap of faith. If you are self-doubting that would it work for you or not, do it. That's what I did. I had touched the back. I didn't know where else to go. So that was my last resort. So I did it and I am here. So if I can do it, I think anyone can. So take that leap of faith, enroll, and I can guarantee it will be totally worth it. You can see me like where I was, where I am today. So I did it and you have to be your best self. Like you have to take the total, you have to utilize everything in the program. Just go through it. It's so understanding. It will instantly change your thinking process. It will instantly shift everything. So just go through it, read everything, understand, talk to you, and then just things will instantly change from there. So I would say take the leap of faith.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that right now someone listening to this is getting hope because of your situation. So thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And I will see you very, very soon. Hey, before you go, if you've enjoyed listening to today's show, I would love your support. Please take a moment to leave a review anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And here's the exciting part. I'm running a special contest and giving away a one-on-one session with yours truly. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and send it to me in my DMs. All of my contact info is in the show notes. I appreciate you so much, and I cannot wait to build the career and life that you've been craving together. See you next week.